All right. Back at you one more again. It's your buddy Mr. Research. Shout out to all the Omegas. Man, look, check this out. So we're gonna really touch into this FBA thing, and I'm gonna take on men of FBA. I think that there needs to be a different conversation. I'm going to start leading out this side. Everybody does what they do. I am not so much into the arguing and fighting each other. I want to put forth great theories, great documentation, great facts. One way we can stop the diaspora wars is if you go to Germany, this is called a linear example. Linear example means that I'm using USA as the premise, but I'm giving a linear example of why what I'm about to say about the USA is true. Because just like in mathematics, there's a mathematical expression that has to equate on both sides. What happens in BLK conversations, people want to have an echo chamber discussion. They don't want to use comparables. They don't want to use mathematical discussions. They just want to use one-sided equations. And that's entertainment. That's not documentation. That's not real cerebral jousting. That's not intellectual competition. It's just, believe me because I say so, echo chamber talk. I've come to realize that a lot of people don't understand things and they get easily offended. And what I mean by don't understand things, if you make a statement that orca whales are dolphins, that's just a statement. Don't get offended by it. People are getting offended because they have never heard of something. And what happens in BOK, people get to arguing, 18 minutes, 8 minutes goes by, people got to calm everybody down, and then somebody looks it up. Well, yeah, it is a dolphin. Okay, well, let's just move on. Let's just move on as if that 8-minute argument didn't just happen. No, we got to stop doing that. We got to have decorum, and we got to have real cerebral jousting. And we, the men, have to lead a lot of this because we have a high percentage of decorum majority of the time. Sometimes women have it, but majority of the time it's got it. Because we just got to get rid of the goofiness. That has to be over. So let's talk about today's topic for FBA. The men of FBA, don't repeat the same sentence. Get to the point. So I'm gonna try to get to the point. We know timeline, dates, names, reference points, laws, policies. If you don't know all that type of stuff, then yeah, FBA is going to seem weird to you. All right, but you never heard of you never heard of Croatia either, because Croatia is a new creation. You never heard of Sudan either, because Sudan's a brand new creation. You never heard of Romania. Romania is a brand new creation. Hell, Ukraine didn't exist. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Okay? The Mongolian War proves that Ukraine didn't exist. So, if you don't know this stuff, trying to tell somebody they wrong or that's not correct, we have this thing where we want to correct people. Okay? And I don't mind that. I really don't. All right? Because I learn more from not being right than I do from actually having a more grounded theory. But we got to get rid of the I felt. We got to get rid of that. We're too old for that. We got to get into something a little bit more strategic. So the number one thing that causes these arguments is you're interrupting somebody that's giving information, but you can't quote a better, superior solution. You don't have the documentation. You're just interrupting just to cause chaos. But before we get that, let me get to the donations, man. I want to appreciate everybody for donating, man. It's been much appreciated. Let me say one more quick little thing about all. So I would just ask you players, donate to the channel and make sure you're subscribed. Sometimes they unsubscribe people, so just make sure you're subscribed. But let's get to it. People always do a lot of interrupting in these conversations when we're trying to have polite conversation about FBA, what it is, and so on and so forth. So let me first explain what it is. FBA is first and foremost a political discussion about lineage of this particular land. Okay? Yes, it is a lineage discussion, but it is wrapped up in a political discussion about this land. Okay? Now, let me give a African example. Okay? I can prove to you that Africans in the 2nd century and 4th century were in Iberia before Rome was created in 150 BC. Before Rome. Okay? I can prove to you that Africans were in Iberia while they were still calling it Iberia, and Romans started calling it Hispania. Okay, I can prove that to you. I can prove that Rome created Portugal in Hispania while there were still Africans in the north of Iberia, aka Hispania. Okay? But those Romans created Portugal, and regardless if they're on Iberia, regardless if they call those people Hispanian, they established Portugal, and to this day, those political lineage people will tell you we are Portugal and we are different than the rest of Iberia. We are different than the rest of Hispania. We are different than the rest of Spain. They established a political lineage based on that land. And you today, to this day, acknowledge that it is not part of Spain. And you acknowledge it because people have documented and went through politics to make it so. This is why you don't understand FBA. Okay? Now, the second thing is, the Duke of Burgundy, this is how much history I know. The Duke of Burgundy came down along with the English guy called Robert the Old, and they created Spain. But wait. They didn't have the courage to do that while Rome was still there. They didn't have the courage to do that when Hannibal's great-grandfather was driving elephants, documented, through Iberia, or when his father was driving elephants through Hispania to attack Rome, or when Hannibal was driving through Hispania to attack Rome. Okay? Africans were there the whole time. You just don't know about it because the other side talks about their situation a lot. And you don't know that these other people were there simultaneously. All right. The Moors got there 600 BC, but they established 700 BC. Okay. But they were only in the water area of Hispania, aka Spain. After the Moors fell, after the last Moor was driven out of Granada, go look it up, then Spain started to be documented. Because the Duke of Burgundy came down there to try to establish the royalty, but they couldn't do nothing with the Moors. They couldn't do nothing with the pirates up in the north part near France, because Iberia is pretty huge. And people have argued with me, oh, they had pirates. Yeah, but that was only in the north part. We know that because they had a whole battle with a African Berber queen. Yeah, African in the north. They had a whole battle with her. So we know that. But they were not in the entirety of Iberia. So all four of these people had sections. Okay? This is what lineage talk is all about. You don't understand it. Let me give you another African reference. Oh, let me stay right here for a second. So I can prove those people started off as Africans. Those people started off as Africans. What? Even if I went back, I could even go back further to the war between Ramesses II and the Sea people. The Sea people were all over there. So let's not, if you don't know the documentation, don't try to compete with what FBA is saying. Go to your job, make your money, and just stay on mute. Don't even worry about what FBA is saying. Because people attacked ADOS in 2015 and 2016 before there was a FBA. And you said, oh, y'all not going to get no Crown Act. We got the Crown Act. Y'all not going to get no, well, actually, y'all not going to get no nothing in Congress. We're on the California Charter now. It's like, come on, man. You guys be saying this stuff, and it's like, you guys just don't understand that some of this stuff is political, and nobody wants to have an argument with you if you're from a different country. But you're coming over to where I'm at talking about, see, lady, that don't make no sense. What is this? Hey, bro, calm down. No. What is this? Calm down, bro. This conversation's not for you, bro. Okay? Go focus on your situation. Oh my God, he don't like me. No, bro, you came over here trying to start an argument, bro. Stop that. Don't do that. We are very different here. Okay, in the USA. Nigeria is about 100 square miles bigger than Texas. Think about that. Only about 125 square miles bigger than Texas. Ethiopia would be similar to where New York sits. California would be like Sierra Leone and Ivory Coast and Liberia. But guess what? You guys in Africa, you're all divided. Here, even if the East Coast don't like Detroit, the New York people will go help Detroit if the Arabs start attacking. Even though Christians don't really like Muslims, if somebody attacks Farrakhan and the Fruit of Islam and the NOI, these Baptists, at least half of them, at least 50% of them, these Catholics, at least 50% of them, they're going to go defend Farrakhan because he's here. He's of this land. Okay? You guys can't can't rationalize that because you're like, oh, we're all different tribes, we speak different languages. Hey, I speak a different West Coast vernacular than the brothers in Brownsville, right? But still, if the mayonnaise man is attacking them, we gonna make sure everything's okay. We ain't just gonna let it happen. You guys are more so likely to let stuff happen. We're not on that type of time. I tell people all the time, if I take some Mount Vernon dudes and some Harlem dudes and put them in, let me pick a different place, put them in Cameroon, they'll get it popping. They'll get it popping. They'll be like, man, we need some reinforcements out here. Here goes some money. We done found some gold. Want some of you soldiers come out here to Cameroon. We done changed it to Cameroon. And next thing you know, Cameroon will be the biggest hotel, the biggest this, and all these SNIPERs. You be having all, hey, look, because if you get some Harlem dudes to go there and just start, hey, look, we ain't about that. Don't do that. Don't do that over here. Man, look, they'll have it popping over there, and then everybody else will be like, oh, you guys are trying to take over. No. We just out here getting our money. We ain't jumping in your politics, but don't come over here with nothing stupid because Harlem has united with the Cameroons. We good over here. You wouldn't know how to take it. You would not know how to take it. Speaking of which, I'm going to start a film media, hopefully. But hey, look, you wouldn't know how to take that. So my point is, there are political things you may not understand. Okay? You wouldn't understand Harlem uniting with Cameroon. It would throw you off. You would just use your mouth, because you know we're a mouthy people. You would just use your mouth and call them colonizers. No. Harlem went over there, shook hands with Cameroon, and then the USA money started coming in from Black USA, from BLK USA. Next thing you know, Cameroon is a new empire headed by the Harlem brothers. I mean, what? That's what you don't understand. USA is a different type of functionality. It's different. It means that we're not going to let outsiders, Arabs, Yemen, Somalians, Italians, Polish, Finnish. We're not letting them come in and just run nothing. Yes, we're going to deal with the YT people, the Mayo people, the JWs, Zooish. I call them Zooish. The Zooish community. We're going to deal with all that. But we're not going to let that over there happen. Okay? We ain't letting that. We just had a situation over here at the park where I'm at, where some Islamics, I call them Islamics, just so nobody gets offended. Some Islamics and some Zuzlams came over, and they using the park, right? They're using the park like everybody else, probably like 60, 70 of them. But don't bust out with no megaphone. Don't do that. And just to set political precedent, me and a bunch of other homeowners, the Mexicans came out to play soccer, and they started using the megaphone. We instantly called the police, instantly ran a police report, instantly ran that police report to our city hall representative, and that ain't gonna be happening no more. We're gonna put up a sign for that. No loud noises between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. Don't do it. We already have an ordinance on the books. Not because you want to call the police. No. We are going to set a precedent over here. Don't do that. Don't come over here and just doing what you want to do, because you're not going to go to the Jewish community and do it. You're not going to go to the YT community, the mayonnaise community, and do it. So don't come down here to Chocolate City and do none of that. That's political lineage talk.
You want to do?
By the way, I'm looking for 20 good media trained brothers.
Y'all black, wear your skin color black. You want to do? We are wearing black. Y'all black, wear your skin color black. You want to do? We are wearing black. Y'all black, wear your skin color black.
Highly intellectual conversation. I want to bring them on the panel, and we have a real competitive, cerebral conversation. Be able to get to your points in 90 seconds. Get to your point in 90 seconds. Get to your point in 90 seconds. Can't do the long, drawn-out conversation, but just being able to practice to get to your point quickly. Because when you are on national TV, they want you to get to these points very quickly. Okay? So looking for 20 brothers, reach out to me. There's several ways to reach me. Research your opinions at gmail.com is the best way. So another thing about lineage that you don't understand, ADOS, Sulan, FBA, these are all political lineage land conversations. Jewish community started in Russia. Think about that. Jewish community did not start in the original Israel. It did not start there. Think about that. England helped those Russian people create Zionism based on appearance. Margaret Thatcher, documented history. Margaret Thatcher, proud to say what she created in 1931. Where Israel, please call it Israel because it's not the original Israel. Where Israel sits right now is actually Moab. Go look at it on the map. Don't believe me. The real Israel is above the Dead Sea. Where Israel sits is totally different. So when you're upset at FBA, you need to agree to disagree. You need to agree to disagree. You need to agree to disagree because you're handcuffing us from doing what we would rather do. And you're causing us to say something to you. You're forcing us to say something to you. Just like you don't have nothing to say about the Russians creating, or should I say that one Russian book club, because that's what it started off at, a book club. That one Russian book club starting Israel. Don't say nothing about what ADOS is doing. Don't say nothing about what Sulans are doing. Don't say nothing about what free men are doing. Just let them have that fight. One of the reasons for the diaspora wars is people are always coming over to Brownsville and start telling Brownsville that they have to act like the Bronx. No, bro. No, don't do that. Don't do that, bro. You coming all the way over to Brownsville and you telling them they gotta act like Mount Vernon, bro. Don't do that, bro. This is what starts the diaspora. We are not arguing with the Black Canadians. We are not arguing with the Ethiopians. We are not arguing with the Black Cubans. It's only maybe one or two people. The rest of them we're not. The people we arguing with is the people who come all the way over there. This doesn't make any sense. And we are Americans. We're going to roast you. So that's why I tell everybody, let's have high-level conversations. And that's why I want to get 20 well-versed, media-ready brothers. And we got an opportunity here, man. We got an opportunity here. And, you know, we're ready to go make it happen. Got an opportunity. But we can't do it with people who just want to tether, and spaz out. Can't do it. We got to go intellectually dominant. Just got to find 20 men wearing blazers, ready to go do it. Who won't talk in circles, who won't ramble, who'll just get to the point. See lay trade, man. And I'm gonna come back with part 2 just for FBA. This is a great FBA talking point. I want to hear what you guys think. Much love. Be talking to you soon.